All right, not yet the last keynote for today. Waking up at 4, going on a plane, flying into Germany, flying out right after the keynote. Mr. Chris Boaz is presenting you how you can kind of reduce costs of your company, because he's going to give you a topic about a new study, and the topic of the study is how much does dirty data cost your business. Mr. Chris Boaz, Head of Marketing of Addressy. Welcome on stage.
Cheers, thank you. Thanks everyone. So yeah, up at 4 a.m, straight to Berlin, straight back after this. So you'll have to excuse me if I get a bit slurry during this. It's been a long day already. But thanks for coming. As just said, I'm going to talk to you about dirty data and how much that costs your business, specifically around address data and the impact of failed deliveries that has on your business. So before I go into that, just a little bit about myself and Addressy. So Addressy is a global company that's part of a UK PLC. We've been in business for about 15 years now, and we have over 11,000 customers using our technology currently across the globe. Not just in retail, multiple sectors across the global marketplace. So our core proposition is that we make life easier for online shoppers through providing better customer experience in online checkouts. Again, specifically around address data and address verification. So making sure that as a consumer, we provide delightful customer experiences. So you as retailers benefit from stickier and happier customers. So recently, we've completed a study with 300 retailers, decision makers in global retailers, and around 2,000 online consumers that shop online regularly. We covered the US, UK, and Germany in this study, and the aim, as it says there, was to discover the real impact of failed deliveries in your business. I'm going to talk around some of those figures and also combine that with another study specifically on user experience in online checkouts. So we'll dive straight in. When we completed that study, the three biggest things that we found that were impacting retailers around address data: number one, logistics costs, so the financial burden put upon retailers when something goes wrong with deliveries. The fact that you've been losing sales because of poor user experience within the checkout when it comes to capturing and verifying address data. And probably the biggest issue that retailers are facing these days when you combine these two is the broader damage of reputation when it comes to customer experience and a failed delivery. You can imagine you ordered a new pair of trainers or jeans, they don't arrive. Your relationship is with the retailer that you made that purchase with, not with the courier who delivered them to you. You're going to go online, you're going to talk to your family and friends and voice your opinion. That can all lead to the true cost, the real cost of dirty data and the failed delivery. So if we look purely at the financial costs, we found that there was a significant cost, obviously, to retailers when it comes to failed deliveries. And around 65% of retailers that we studied, that we interviewed, said that it was a significant cost to their business. We go on to the financial impact in a second, but it's whether they pay back delivery charges, whether they offer discounts to consumers as a way of an apology, or even when you look at adding additional re-delivery costs onto that, it all comes off your bottom line. So, on average, the cost of a failed delivery to you, the retailer, is just shy of €15. It's similar in pounds, and in the US it's a little bit higher, at around just over $16. So it's a significant number for one failed delivery. You multiply that out for the number of deliveries that you make a year and the percentage that have failed, and it is a real cost that comes off your bottom line. So, like I said at the beginning, part of this study was based on retailers, talking to people like yourselves, but also talking to consumers across the UK, the US and Germany as well. So this was quite shocking to me, actually, when we looked at this study and we saw that 62% of shoppers have experienced a failed delivery, a late delivery in the last year. I thought that was quite high. Maybe it's because I'm in the industry and deal with address data and think that it's fantastic and everyone uses it. It's obviously not the case. But there was a bit of a mismatch in figures when it came to the retailer and also the consumers. So as consumers, we're expecting retailers to solve the issue and to take the burden of that issue. And retailers think that some of that is down to us as well. Obviously, it's up to us to make sure that we provide the most accurate data. But again, it's down to the retailers to ensure that you've got the right technology to make your customers' lives super simple. Remove any friction you can from the checkout, and you're going to see huge uplift in conversion rates. So the bottom figure there, that 57% figure, is really crucial to take a moment on. So 57% wouldn't shop with a retailer if you had a bad delivery experience. Again, over 50%, that's really high and quite shocking when you consider the amount of impact that can have on your reputation. If you take into account social media, if something gets picked up virally, maybe even media outlets picking up on a bad delivery or a series of bad deliveries can really result in extra financial burden on your business. So what is the issue? What do retailers think the issue is? And that comes down to retailers suspecting that the consumers aren't entering their address correctly. So we're all human, we're all going to make errors at some point, especially when you're shopping online, maybe on a mobile device, and you're having to fill in your address, which you know you can recite it 100% of the time, but when it comes to typing, maybe you're in a rush, you get things wrong. So it says there again that 4 out of 5 retailers say that consumers don't realize they've made a mistake. I've done it myself actually a few weeks ago, ordering something and put my wrong postcode in, only by a digit, but I didn't get the items and I wondered why. I went back to my order and realized that I put a 6 instead of a 7, simple error, but I didn't get the stuff I was ordering, and as a consumer myself, I owned up, admitted, and paid the extra delivery charge. But this is crucial, actually, when you say that if you're not realizing as a shopper that you're making these mistakes, it's down to the retailer to help try and fix them. They want your experience to be super smooth and get through that process so you become a repeat customer. Quite a bold statement on the left. Address entry is the bane of online shopping. I think that's one of the key issues. I don't think it's all of the issues, but it is something that is highly frustrating. So top there we say 34% of consumers filling in address data can be frustrating. I completely agree, especially when you're talking on an app or a mobile device. You've got the fat finger syndrome. You want to remove any of that friction, all of that friction if you possibly can. The second figure there about abandoning carts, abandoning shops, if you encounter a bad experience with entering an address, I think that's significant as well. As retailers, if you can provide the technology that enables that figure to reduce, we'd all love it to be 0. That's never going to happen. But it's a significant number that we all need to be working on. Excuse me. So when you look at the methods of address verification, this is where the second part of our study came in when we've been talking about user experience. So there are a number of verification methods that retailers can use, and that goes from absolutely nothing, so expecting the consumer to fill in their address completely manually with absolutely no form of verification. I've already touched upon the human error side of things. It's really important that as retailers you do have some form of verification. There are post verification methods, there are partial verification methods, and then the one that we like to encourage is the type ahead predictive address verification. So the German e-commerce market, as you know, is enormous. Thousands of retailers, more than 65 billion euros worth of business going through the e-commerce market. But only 9% of German retailers and German websites are using type-ahead address verification. So the most accurate form of address verification, only 9% of retailers are using that. The study that we commissioned with a UX agency over the last couple of months was released yesterday in time for this show, actually. And we interviewed and completed a live consumer study where we had variations of the online shopping experience in the checkout using different types of address methods that I've just spoken about. So we see here that over 50% of German consumers who do shop online regularly prefer type-ahead predictive technology. That's great for us. They found it faster, they found it easier, and they also felt more comfortable with it. I've spoken a little bit. I'm not sure where that dog just came from, if anyone saw. That was pretty crazy. So 54% were more comfortable when using type-ahead address verification over any of the other methods. We need to, as retailers, need to make sure that we're listening to our consumers, building on those great experiences. So introducing type-ahead address verification is not only going to help with reducing your dirty data and your failed deliveries, but giving your consumers a much more enhanced customer experience. These are some of the comments. We had lots. We interviewed just over 100 online shoppers. And these are just a few of the comments that get picked out throughout the commentary. This one at the bottom right is my favorite. Since it enters itself, I cannot make a mistake. I think that's fantastic. Summary of the experience that consumers are getting when they use this type of technology. The fact that this can help build your brand as well and enhance your reputation, the fact that the consumer feels comfortable and that you're doing the work for them really, really builds upon that experience. Again, leading to stickier customers, word of mouth, repeat business, increasing your bottom line. I'm going to move over this quickly because this is the sales part of the presentation, really, around what the benefits are of using the type-ahead address verification. So there are many. We'll talk about cost. We've been spoken about dirty data, 64% reduction in failed deliveries if you're using a tool such as ours. The reduction in wastage, cost management is significant. It's compared to the investment you require on technology such as Addressy. So you add up those €15 failed deliveries over a year, depending on your transaction volumes, it's going to be a significant saving that you make. In terms of marketing and onboarding new customers, attracting new customers, giving them better customer experience, we've seen through this study as well that we see a over 50% improvement in those registrations on websites that use type-ahead address verification over the other methods that we've spoken about. And that also leads directly into sales. Reducing cart abandonment, increasing conversions, whichever way you want to talk about it, is a crucial part of your optimization strategy. Again, it's never going to be 100%, but we would love as many shoppers to get through that process as possible. Impacting your bottom line is a crucial element. The return on investment you get is going to be double-fold when you increase conversions and you reduce failed deliveries, and providing that overall better customer experience. Leading on to brand reputation, which I touched upon, it's really these stats here about reducing negative online reviews, going onto social media, whether it's Twitter, Facebook, or whatever channel is being used today. It's a really crucial part that we generate word of mouth sales and build up that reputation. The the relationship that shoppers have is with us, with the retailers, with you, not with the courier, not with the guys that are delivering your goods, their goods on a daily basis. So whenever you have a good experience, we'd like for obviously the consumers to shout about it, but they are more likely to talk about the bad ones, unfortunately. So making sure that you reduce any negative experience is really important. And that greater brand loyalty, it's about, again, stickier, happier customers and providing a delightful customer experience time and time again. So just talking about international data for a few minutes as well. So cross-border shopping is increasing. I'm sure you've seen this. There are over 120 different address formats globally. In the UK, it's pretty simple. We enter a postcode and your house number and you get your address, and that's fantastic. In the US, it's a little bit more complicated, a lot more apartments and suites and building numbers. And the way that addresses are formatted is really crucial. That helps with logistics and deliveries, obviously, making sure that that's accurate. But when you look at those cross-border sales, in Germany, I was looking at some stats the other day, your cross-border sales are increasing from countries like Switzerland, from the UK, France, Italy, China, Russia. Making sure that you're able to ship to those countries and take advantage of this growth in e-commerce cross-border is, again, really important. You can imagine the cost of sending something abroad is higher, so the cost of a failed delivery is going to be higher as well. Again, building on that brand reputation, if you've got international growth plans, international data, address data is really important and something you should be taking note of. We say there as well that 1 in 10 consumers experience a lack of support for international addresses. And what we mean by that is not picking up the phone and making sure that you can speak to your shoppers about when they're going to get their delivery, but physically, when they order online, making sure that their package, their delivery gets to them in the time that you've spoken about, using the best reputable courier that you can to make sure that it arrives there. I brushed over the sales pitch. I'm going to spend a little bit more time talking about Addressy. We're on stand C19. You've got a couple of hours left to come and chat to us. But the great things about Addressy is that it's really easy to use. We work across many e-commerce platforms. It's been built by developers that understand user experience at the heart of a business. So I'm not going to say a great deal more about Addressy because you can come chat to us. We'll talk to you about it until we're blue in the face and you're getting bored. It is a fantastic product. It's been used by 11,000 companies over the world, some of the biggest retailers and financial institutions globally. And that's it, actually. Any questions?
All right, we got some possible questions. First, yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, now it's your turn again. Any questions from the audience? Yes, lady in blue, coming over to you. Hi, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Anna. Could you describe more how does it work? Like, how do you connect it with your store and all the details?
How do we collect the details?
Yeah, how does it work
Okay.
overall? Do you
Sure.
connect it via an API or?
Yeah. So you can think of Addressy as a search engine purely for addresses. So we don't own the data. We source address data globally for around 240 countries, territories around the world using source data. So in the UK, Royal Mail, for example, USPS, Canada Post. So that data gets updated every day. Our technology is the search engine that layers over the top of it. It's predictive, just like Google. You start typing and it will make predictions based on your location. You select your right address. So we have integrations for the leading e-commerce platforms, Magento, Shopify, Salesforce Commerce Cloud. But we've also got a whole library of API documentation. It really is very simple. It's a short piece of code you can copy and paste. Get it working in under 10 minutes, or if you need to make tailored approach to how you want to deploy it, that's completely fine too. You can either do that yourselves, speak to us, and we can help you out. It's pretty simple.
Thanks for that question. Any further questions? Since he's gonna take a plane afterwards, there's not too much possibility to talk to you after.
Yep.
So maybe just hit it out. Nobody? All right, then I want to thank you, Chris.
Cheers.
That was pretty amazing.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks for presenting that
Cheers.
study.
Thank you. Cheers.